I still remember the morning everything flipped for me. It was one of those New York mornings where the air tastes like burnt coffee and car exhaust, and everyone's walking fast, eyes down, chasing something. My name's Pop. Elena Cruz. 25, first-gen college kid from a little town outside El Paso. I'd been living in a shoebox apartment in Queens with paint peeling off the walls. My mom back in Texas, fighting off stage 3 cancer bills stacked so high on the counter, I stopped opening them. But that day, I had hope tucked into my purse, right next to my resume. I was headed to an interview at Apex Systems, a junior software gig that could finally pull me out of the hole and help my mom breathe again. I'd ironed my one good suit until the seams shined. I'd even put on the tiny silver hoops my abuela gave me before she passed for courage. On the subway ride in, I rehearsed every answer in my head, strengths, weaknesses, why I'd be an asset. My hands were trembling, but in a good way. At 8:50 a.m., I stepped off the train at 42nd Street. Interview at 9:30. Plenty of time to grab a coffee, run through my notes one more time, and walk in like I belonged there. Then I saw him. He was standing at the crosswalk on 41st Street, tall but shrunken. Somehow, khaki pants, rumpled white shirt, buttoned wrong at the collar. His hands were shaking, clutching an old flip phone like it was a grenade about to go off. People streamed around him like he wasn't even there. I heard him say, "Excuse me, could you help me find..." And the woman in the power suit didn't even slow down. I checked my phone. 8:54. I should have kept walking. But his eyes, pale blue and lost, reminded me of my grandfather when he started forgetting who I was. I walked up. "Sir, you okay? You look a little turned around." He blinked at me, relief flooding his face. "Thank you. I'm supposed to be at an important meeting near Bryant Park, or was it Grand Central? My phone died. My son will be frantic." He tried to smile, but his lip trembled. I looked down at my phone again. 8:56. I could have said, "Sorry I'm late," and left him standing there. Instead, I typed a quick email to Apex's HR emergency, helping an elderly person in distress might be late. Then I took a breath and said, "Let's figure this out together." 10 minutes later, we'd pieced it together, the Meridian Tower on Lexington. 20 blocks. I flagged a cab, helped him in. Meter started running. He asked my name. "Elena." "I'm Walter Hayes," he said softly. "And what were you hurrying to before rescuing an old fool job interview?" I said. His face fell. "Oh, my dear, I've ruined it for you." "Nah," I lied. I made my choice. Traffic was brutal. By the time we pulled up, it was 9:25. I handed over 31 of my last $37 and helped him inside. The security guard snapped to attention. "Mr. Hayes, your son was worried sick." And just like that, Walter wasn't just some lost old man. He belonged to that world of marble lobbies and glass elevators. I stood there in my faded suit, feeling like a fool while he disappeared upstairs. He pressed a card into my hand before the elevator doors closed. "Maybe my son can help," he said. I barely looked at it. My shot at Apex was gone. That afternoon, I worked a double at the diner in Jackson Heights, pouring coffee for guys who called me sweetheart without looking at my face. My feet hurt. My back hurt. My heart hurt worse. I kept seeing that email from HR. "We can't hold the slot." But I didn't regret it. I just felt hollow. Next morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. "This is Daniel Hayes. Apex Health Tech," the voice said. "You helped my father yesterday." My stomach dropped. "Is he okay?" "He's fine, thanks to you. In fact, he walked into our board meeting and wouldn't stop talking about the young woman who saved him." "Can we meet, Why? Because you're exactly the kind of person we need." I showed up at their headquarters the next day. 50 stories of glass and steel, a lobby that smelled like money. Daniel was younger than I'd expected, mid-40s, maybe navy suit, steady eyes. He didn't waste time. "We're building a platform for seniors, but our developers don't understand what it's like to age out of technology. Yesterday you proved you do. I want you to lead a 90-day pilot." I almost laughed. "I'm just trying to land an entry-level gig." He smiled. You have something better than experience empathy. So there I was Monday morning leading a team of people older and sharper on paper than me. First prototype bombed, big fonts, bright buttons, and still nobody over 70 could figure it out. Frank 82 jabbed at the screen and muttered, "Why can't it just say call my daughter instead of connect to contact?" He looked at me like I was the enemy. My cheeks burned. "You're right," I said quietly. Back to the drawing board. I dragged my team into senior centers' living rooms, grocery store tech kiosks, anywhere our users actually live their lives. 4 hours with someone over 70, I ordered no interviews, just watch. They groaned, but they did it. We stopped designing for what we thought they needed and started designing for what they actually did. Buttons that said, "Call my doctor." Interfaces that remembered medication times. Pages that respected aging eyes and shaky hands. 6 weeks in, we'd tripled engagement. But the CFO hit us with the numbers. "Old folks don't buy apps," he said. "Prove the revenue or the project dies." That night I sat in my tiny kitchen crunching data I barely understood: healthcare costs, ER visits, medication adherence. When I pitched again, I didn't talk about users. I talked about savings. Seniors aren't just tech consumers, I said. They're healthcare consumers. Insurance companies will pay for what we're building. The room went silent. Then Daniel leaned forward. "So we go B2B. Exactly." 3 months after I'd missed Apex's interview, I was on stage in Vegas at the Senior Tech Summit. Bright lights in my eyes. Walter Hayes beaming in the front row. My heart hammered like it had that morning at the crosswalk. A rival CEO stood up. "Sounds lovely," he said, smirking. "But how do you scale empathy?" I smiled, clicked the next slide, and showed them our nationwide senior advisory panel, our open-source design guidelines, our 92% satisfaction rate. "It's not about empathy," I said. "It's about systems built on respect." The applause rolled over me like a wave. After the conference, seniors hugged me. Investors shoved cards into my hands. Healthcare execs begged for meetings. Walter found me by the stage stairs, his eyes clearer than they'd been. "You didn't just help me that day," he said. "You helped all of us." I swallowed hard. "No, sir. You gave me a chance to prove who I already was." 6 months later, Daniel called me into his office overlooking Central Park. "We're expanding," he said. "You'll run digital health strategy, 40 people, 15 million budget. Are you ready?" I thought about that morning, about my mom's hospital bills now covered by our own insurance, about Frank and Eleanor and Margaret, the seniors, who'd turned from test subjects into co-designers. I thought about the day I chose a stranger over my own plan. "Yeah," I said, "I'm ready." Sometimes at night in my new apartment with actual heat and no eviction notice taped to the door, I wonder what would have happened if I'd just kept walking. Maybe I'd still be slinging coffee at the diner, still sending out resumes into the void. But my abuela used to say, "The most important doors don't look like doors. They look like interruptions." She was right. That morning on 41st Street wasn't the end of my shot. It was the start of everything. And that's the part I want you to think about. In a world that tells you to hustle, to put yourself first, to measure everything in likes and paychecks, what do you do when no one's watching? Who are you willing to be when it costs you something? I chose to stop. It didn't ruin me. It found me. If you've ever been in that spot, torn between helping someone and chasing your own shot, tell me in the comments what you did. Was it worth it? Do you think society judges compassion as weakness? I want to hear your stories. Hit like, hit subscribe, drop your own interruption moments below. Let's talk about what's really right, what's really wrong, and how one small choice on a crowded street can change everything.